Welcome to section 11.6. This is the 108th session of the CISSP exam prep series. In this session, we'll unpack the naming system that turns readable names into addresses. We'll answer several questions. How do the three kinds of address relate? What does this system actually do? And how is a full name built? What lives inside a zone as records? How is the system secured? What attacks poison it? And how do you defend? And what threats target the domain name itself? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because name resolution is a favourite target and a quiet one. Imagine users at your company suddenly landing on a convincing fake of your banking portal with nothing obviously wrong on their screens. A poison name lookup can do exactly that. Understanding how resolution works and where it breaks is what lets you detect and prevent these silent redirections. So how do the three kinds of address relate? They stack in layers of permanence. The domain name is a human-friendly label, and it is the least fixed. The IP address is a logical address assigned on top of the hardware, and it too can change. The hardware address burned into the interface is the most permanent, though even that can sometimes be spoofed. Resolution walks down this stack. The naming system turns a name into an IP address, and then the address resolution protocol turns that IP address into a hardware address. Think of a name, a mailing address, and a fixed GPS coordinate for the same house. What does this system do, and how is a full name built? It resolves human-friendly names into addresses using a hierarchical naming scheme shared across public and private networks. A fully qualified domain name has three main parts. The top-level domain on the right, such as the common commercial or organizational endings, the registered domain name that an owner claims through a registrar, and the host or subdomain portion on the left. Read it right to left, from the broadest zone down to the specific machine. Picture an address written backwards, starting with the country and narrowing to the exact door. What lives inside a zone as records? Every registered domain has an authoritative name server holding its zone file, a collection of resource records. Each record type answers a specific question. Address records map a name to a numeric address, one type for the older addressing and another for the newer. A pointer record does the reverse, mapping an address back to a name. An alias record links one name to another. A mail record names the servers that accept email for the domain. A name server record identifies which servers are authoritative. And the start of authority record holds the master details and refresh timing. Think of the zone file as the domain's phone book, each record a different kind of listing. How is name resolution secured? With two complementary additions. The security extensions add mutual certificate authentication and encrypted sessions between servers, which blunts server-focused abuses like zone poisoning. But those extensions protect only the servers, not the clients querying them. To protect the client side, resolution over an encrypted web session wraps the query and response inside a protected tunnel. A privacy-focused variant even adds a proxy between client and resolver, so the resolver never learns who asked. The trade-off is that you now trust that proxy provider. It is like sealing both ends of a conversation, not just the switchboard. What attacks poison the system? And how does one work? Poisoning means feeding a client false name to address information so it reaches the wrong system. There are several avenues. A rogue server listens for queries and races to answer first with a lie, and because responses must echo a small query identifier, the attacker simply copies it. Attackers often prefer caching servers, since those are watched only by local operators, so a lie can sit unnoticed for a long time. Related tricks: edit the localhost file, corrupt a client's configured resolver, or spoof the query directly on the wire. The end effect is the same. The victim trusts a poisoned answer and is quietly redirected. How do you defend against poisoning? With layered, practical measures. Run a split arrangement, one server facing the public and a separate one for internal use, so outsiders never touch your internal records. Restrict zone transfers and require internal clients to resolve through your internal servers. Deploy intrusion detection to watch for abnormal lookups, harden every server and client, and turn on the security extensions and encrypted resolution where supported. You can even weaponize the technique defensively with a sinkhole, deliberately returning false answers to steer malware away from its command servers or to block known malicious sites. There is no single patch, because these attacks abuse normal behavior, so detection and layering are the real defense. What threats target the domain name itself? Two stand out. Domain hijacking is the theft of a domain's registration, taking control without the owner's consent, often by stealing registrar credentials. The new owner can then host a convincing fake and harvest personal information from unsuspecting visitors. Defend it with strong multi-factor authentication at your registrar and by keeping registration from lapsing through auto-renewal. The second threat is the homograph attack, which registers lookalike names using characters from other alphabets that mimic familiar letters. To the eye, the name looks legitimate, but it resolves somewhere hostile. Slow down and inspect any address that looks a shade off. So let's bring it together. 3 address types stack, from changeable name to permanent hardware, and resolution walks down them. The naming system resolves hierarchical full names, whose parts read from broad zone to specific host. Zone files hold resource records, each a different kind of listing. Security extensions protect servers, while encrypted resolution protects clients. Poisoning feeds clients false answers through rogue or caching servers, hosts files, or spoofing, and you counter it with split servers, restricted transfers, monitoring, and hardening. And the domain name itself is a target through hijacking and lookalike homograph tricks. Guard the lookups, and you guard where your users actually go. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.